Hi there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawwalker, your host, and today we're going to be checking out this new Steve Lacy album, Gemini Writes. Real quick, before we get into the thick of it, I just wanted to let everyone know I updated my Depop with a lot of shirts. When I started this channel, I was like 265 pounds, like pushing 270. And in the past year or so, I've dropped like 50 pounds and have moved down several shirt sizes. So for all of my thick boys, I have all of my old XXL shirts up on my Depop, and I mean all of them. Some of these shirts are absolute favorites of mine, but they have got to go on to better homes, so check out my Depop because there's some really good stuff on there right now. So Steve Lacy, the guitar player for The Internet, is now on his second solo album, Gemini Writes. The whole record is brimming with funk and R&B styles, from a more funky tone to more sensual styles. This is one of the better uses of throwback styles I've heard in quite a while. Lacy has some very gripping performances on this thing, be it guitar or vocal work, and while the former is rooted in solid, emotive, and delicate delivery, the latter is a floaty, dreamy, buttery vocal layer that intertwines some very wonderful poetry for the lyrics. And a lot of these songs are extremely sentimental, like the first track, Static, which broods on a former lover or lovers that can't seem to find any kind of peace except in very brief, fleeting relationships that seem like they're ever expedited by like a dopamine loop combined with substance abuse. And I really like that it's not a spiteful song either. It's kind of a dedication to those people as like a gesture of love, that Lacy hopes that they find peace in their lives, which I think is just a really mature take and very fresh. Helmet is kind of a development on the themes from the last track, wrestling with feelings for another former lover that he seemingly can't get over, and it seems like they can't get over him either. Kind of an interesting pair of tracks. I imagine whatever source of inspiration for one song was probably the same or similar for the other. Mercury is a really wonderful track that blends the soulful R&B styles Lacy has been delivering with a bossa nova style with a bit of a twinge of psychedelia. Lyrically, it seems like Lacy is trying to relate his former years to astrology, leaning into a stereotype that Geminis are two-faced, but he can name 23 faces, that being each of his past birthdays and previous years. And you know, I really like the themes on this album of growth and playing into and against stereotypes based on youth. I think a lot of the ideas here are incredibly emotionally in touch, and I think he's done a very great job putting all of these ideas into words. Buttons is a really slow, sensual track that sees Steve becoming emotionally vulnerable to someone who then manipulates him. It is one of the more straightforward tracks here, oddly enough, despite the heavy track subject, but it's simple and it's a very effective song. Bad Habit is a track where Lacy reflects on the hypothetical futures he could have had with people had he just expressed his feelings a little bit more clearly. You know, I think that's a pretty relatable track. I really like that this album leans into these more realistic scenarios of interpersonal relationships. It does ground things a lot and makes the enjoyment beyond just the music that much more enjoyable. And the music, of course, is quite smooth, generally very delicate and catchy. And I do think this is where things on the album start to get a little bit hit and miss for me. The interlude track here is fine, but kind of forgettable. It does pace things out decently enough, though. Cody Freestyle, it's alright. It's a very calm, synth-heavy track that's, I mean, it's okay. In comparison with the other tracks, though, the synth-heavy production, to me at least, sticks out a little bit. It's not bad, but I think it messes a bit with the flow of the tracks. I personally would have liked to have seen a bit more of a focus on the backing track for this song. Amber is a tight piano instrumental that feels particularly 70s in its production. Lacy has a strong vocal track with these great backup singers that really help drive home the impact on a lot of the track. I'm a big fan of the piano that plays off of like a light synth string section in the track, just it floating in the background kinda. I also like the lyrics that again hit on another significant other, and how Steve realizes over the course of the song how he kind of wishes he had never really met this person, and he really belts it out at the end of this track too. It's a good moment. Sunshine again deals with more lyrical themes of ex-lovers, this time having had a close encounter with one, presumably a hookup of some kind or something like that. I would say though, I was kind of sick of this cliche at this point in the album, but thought the Fushi feature really revives the excitement and helps get the track's pacing back on track. I hope I'm pronouncing that feature correctly. Give You the World Again is another emotional track where Steve is begging for his ex to take him back, saying he'll treat them right and he'll give them the world. It's a decent closer. The instrumental is very, very Bootsy Collins with a chunky P-funk bass line and some light, twangy funk guitars. It's kind of sad, it's kind of sexy. I do like the falsetto work from Lacy quite a bit. And, you know, I don't know. I think this is a pretty solid album that has a bit of a problem with the writing getting a little bit samey on the lyric side of things. I still think most of the work here is still very solid. I like the various soul, funk, and R&B influences that are being pulled here. And I'm thinking this one's a pretty solid 8. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this album in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe, and let me know what I should cover next. Check out my Instagram, my Reverb, and my Depop. Links to those are in the description below. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.